Sure. Well, so we have the Spartan team, so there's five of us, and we all have our niche. So we've got our investment officer, we have our acquisitions, a director of acquisitions, we have CEO Scott Lewis, he handles all of our strategy. Lindsay, she handles our business intelligence, all of our research, feasibility, due diligence for our projects, and then I handle operations. But then there's also the asset level. So for instance, with our facility in Texas, I have two managers and a maintenance guy for that facility. So then you're talking about the teams that are on the ground and that are really the frontline employees and the face of your business.
Tell us about, or give us maybe an example of a difficult situation with an employee, maybe some way that you had to handle it, or what you had to do that maybe we're going to run into and have to deal with ourselves.
Yeah, well, that's a good question. There are so many different examples because
Right.
there's always, when you're remotely managing and, as owners, you have expectations, you have to answer to your investors. And then, I feel like I'm the middleman often, because I'm working in the trenches with, my managers that are on property, and then we have the investors as well. So, you need to marry the two expectations because, I know what the pressures are there on site, but then I also know the pressures and how we need to perform for our investors. So, I would say that the most common issue that occurs is, lack of communication or miscommunication. And I really think just putting strong tools in place. So we use a Google Docs and a Google spreadsheet, and basically we call it our weekly sheet. And every time I have a question or I need to, stay up to date on what's going on property, I list it out there, and then my managers know to go in and to answer those questions, and we have a continuous dialogue through those items. And it's a really great way to keep track of what's important to me, what's important to them, and what we're moving the bar on. So, oftentimes it feels like there's so many things that we need to get done and we need to move forward with. And sometimes it feels like you're stuck, but when you have that sort of open dialogue, you understand what their burning issues are there on property. So, what may be something that is important to me might not seem as important to them because they're dealing with a fire, something on property that to them is a big deal and that they're dealing with, and, they're dealing with angry customers. And so, that's their main priority. And so just really balancing those different expectations and just really, constantly working on the communication. I think that is usually the main, when there are problems, that's usually the main theme.
Communication breakdown.
Yeah, communication breakdown.
Yeah.